Basically like a youth research organisation. So in coming here, we each produced sort of a research paper particular to like stuff that's going on here. So in terms of our message, we're really not so much sending a message, but really here to just learn, try and really understand the whole process and speak with people who do have expertise and do understand the process and basically just inform each other about what's going on. Yep.
And Madeline, moving on to you, what's your take of the Australian government and the Australian delegation's, I guess, behaviour in the past week? It doesn't seem to have made many friends. What's your view on that?
It's a good question. They definitely haven't brought much to the table. And so, being Australian and being in this position, we're obviously disappointed with them. But there's been a change of government, there's a change in plans, and although it somewhat is, maybe not moving forward, maybe not moving backwards, but they are quite stagnant in their position, it's a little bit disappointing, but or I guess all we can hope to do and hope to get out of this is at least, and it's not very ambitious, but not go backwards, and then from there plan how we can get the Australian people maybe talking and making climate change a bit more important on the policy agendas for the government and maybe push that through. So that's all we can bring right now to this, and of course we are disappointed with what's happened and what Australia's brought to the table, but we're still hopeful that in time we'll be able to push this a little further.
And Jack, I guess from what we understand, the new Australian government was voted in very much on a anti-carbon tax policy, so it doesn't seem as if many Australians, or at least the ones who voted, are particularly keen on much affirmative climate action. What will be your message going back? What will be your message when you go back home in terms of what the country needs to do in terms of sort of dealing with climate change?
Well, starting away from the message, I don't think it was necessarily solely on the carbon tax repeal. I don't think that was the main focus of voters. It was a key thing. And I guess now, I think people don't know enough about direct action, which is our alternative to the carbon price. And I think unless the government can come out and say that this is definitely going to be able to help us achieve even our measly 5% reduction target, I think they're going to struggle to justify that. So we, I guess, us involved in a convention like this need to go back and really, I think, just show the numbers, not necessarily be parading around the streets as activists. We just need to go back, talk to your local members, write a letter to your local member, and just really inform people about how the economics of the carbon price adds up and how the direct action, which is the alternative, adds up, and show that direct action probably is not going to be the most effective way, as our government has said, to achieve a reduction in emissions.
Okay, let's send the microphone heading back the other way, Madeline.
Yes.
What are your kind of hopes for the end of this conference? I mean, it seems like it's slowly inching its way towards a conclusion. So what would you want to take away from this?
Ooh. Wow.
What would you like to see in the final sort of text in terms of ambition?
Okay.
You don't need to go into the specifics.
No, of course. I mean, I'd like to see some more finance on the table. Whether that's likely, not sure. I've been tracking RED. So there's been quite a bit going on with RED, and things have gone through, and it may have been a little bit watered down, but there's some really big things that have come out of the texts, which is really positive, so I'm happy to have seen them. Mm-hmm. On a bigger scale, I guess, more ambition in the ADP. You want people to really sign on and get on board. Just maybe a bit more than we're all bringing, and especially the finance to the GCF. There needs to be something on that, but I don't know how at this point we'll get there at the end. But
Okay,
see.
and Matt, finishing with you. Jack only got one question, so he's going to feel left out. But finishing with you, in terms of the way that you've been received here, in terms of the way that your voice has been listened to, are you pleased with the kind of influence you guys have had, or do you think there's more? Is there more potential for youth groups to be involved?
I think the youth have made their voice heard as well as can be expected. I believe there's some movement on intergenerational equity, and we may see an outcome of that in the text. So if we were to achieve that, I think that is a key point for the youth, and I would be quite pleased with that happening. Obviously, the youth are very keen always to get very much involved, and sometimes I guess we do struggle a little bit to get our voice heard, but we're learning and we're trying to figure out ways of enabling us to get our voice heard. So.